the days when the Jewish people could not or would not speak up for themselves, those days are over. Today we can speak out. Today we must speak out. And we must do so together. Here in Israel, Isaac Herzog, the leader of the labor opposition, the man who ran against me in this year's election, and who works every day in the Knesset to bring down my government, Herzog has said that there is no daylight between us when it comes to the deal with Iran. This is simply not a partisan issue in Israel. Sure, some people disagree, but overwhelmingly, across the political spectrum, a huge majority of Israelis oppose this deal. So this is not a partisan issue in Israel. It shouldn't be a partisan issue in the United States either. Nor is it a personal issue. This isn't about me, and it's not about President Obama. It's about the deal. I'm asking you to rise above partisan politics as we in Israel have risen above it. Judge the deal on its substance, and on its substance alone. The more people know about the deal, the more they oppose it. And the more people know about the deal, the more the deal's supporters try to stifle serious debate. They do so with false claims and efforts to delegitimize criticism. Yet there's one claim that is the most outrageous, that those who oppose this deal want war. That's utterly false. We in Israel don't want war. We want peace, because it's we who are on the front lines. We face Iran's terror on 3 borders. We face tens of thousands of Iranian rockets aimed at all our cities. We face Iran, whose regime repeatedly calls for the destruction of the Jewish state. We face Iran, whose terrorist proxies try to kill Jews every day. We know that Iran is not only the leading state sponsor of terrorism, it's also the leading state sponsor of anti-Semitism. Israelis are going to be the ones who pay the highest price if there's war and if Iran gets the bomb. The claim that we oppose this deal because we want war is not just false, it's outrageous. Israel wants to dismantle Iran's nuclear program, and Israel wants peace. This deal would advance neither goal. I don't oppose this deal because I want war. I oppose this deal because I want to prevent war. And this deal will bring war. It will spark a nuclear arms race in the region, and it would feed Iran's terrorism and aggression. That would make war, perhaps the most horrific war of all, far more likely. Don't let the deal supporters quash a real debate. The issue here is too important. Don't let them take your voice away at this critical moment in history. What we do now will affect our lives and the lives of our children and grandchildren in Israel, in America, everywhere. This is a time to stand up and be counted. Oppose this dangerous deal. I think that I offered 2 alternatives and supported 2 different alternatives. The first alternative is to dismantle the sanctions in exchange for dismantling Iran's nuclear program. That was in fact the US position until the interim agreement in 2003. It was supported on a bipartisan basis. But once the US backed off this position, I offered another alternative. Not full dismantling, but significantly rolling back Iran's nuclear program and linking the lifting of restrictions on that program to a change in Iran's behavior. That is, to have them stop their terrorism and their regional aggression. And I outlined that alternative in a speech before the US Congress. So it's simply wrong to say that I offered no alternatives and that I wouldn't accept any deal. We'd accept a good deal. This is not a good deal. Now, I want to take this opportunity to dispel a number of false claims about Israel's position and about the deal. First and foremost is the claim that the only alternative to this deal is war. That's kind of funny. Just a few weeks ago, we were being told that the alternative to a bad deal is no deal. Now we're being told that the alternative to a bad deal is war. What's changed in the interim? The answer is nothing. The alternative to this bad deal is still no deal or a better deal, one which would roll back Iran's nuclear program and link the lifting of restrictions on that program to a cessation of Iran's aggression and its terrorism. The claim that I wouldn't accept any deal and that I haven't proposed any alternative is simply not true. The most important thing is to maintain the pressure. Not merely to maintain the sanctions, but actually to increase the pressure. I think that has proved to be absolutely effective throughout the many times that we've had to deal with Iran. Iran wants two things in this deal. It wants a nuclear weapons capability, and it wants sanctions relief. The negotiations were supposed to make Iran choose between the two. Instead, the deal gave Iran both. It let Iran keep its nuclear program, and it lifts the sanctions for them. So Iran can have its yellow cake and eat it too. There's a myth that the sanctions will collapse without this deal. Well, they won't. If the United States maintains or increases sanctions, two things will happen, Michael. And I think that'll happen after some initial erosion. First, the rest of the world will come around. And there's a reason for that. See, the U.S. economy is 40 times larger than Iran's economy. Iran's economy is about $400 billion, and the U.S. economy is $17 trillion economy. So if a foreign firm or a foreign government has to choose between Iran's economy and the $17 trillion U.S. economy, that's a no-brainer. So I think after some initial erosion, the international community will come around with renewed sanctions. And second, I think the Iranians will come back. See, they need a deal. They need a lot more than any of us needed. The best way to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons has not changed. Increase the sanctions, increase the pressure. Don't prematurely give away the best leverage you have. I think that the relationship between the United States and Israel is so fundamentally strong that it will continue to remain strong because it's based on something so deep. It's based on our shared values. When Americans look around the world, and especially when they look at the Middle East, you see darkness, chaos, savagery, barbarism, and you see one island there, this island of freedom and democracy, Israel. So while we may have a serious policy disagreement on this deal with Iran, I think this is so strong because it's based on our shared values, and that relationship will continue. This policy disagreement has never been personal, and our relationship is strong enough to withstand even serious disagreements, as we have in the past. Look, do I believe that President Obama thinks this is the best way to address the Iranian nuclear threat? Yes, I think he does. Would I prefer not to have this agreement? Absolutely. But I wouldn't be fulfilling my responsibilities as Prime Minister if I didn't voice Israel's grave concerns about the dangers of this deal. And despite the ongoing disagreement about Iran, Israel and the United States continue to work together, continue to work closely together on a broad spectrum of issues that affect the national security of both countries. A senior U.S. defense official is quoted this week as saying, "We are allies and our cooperation will continue unrelated to this deal." I fully concur. Israel is not only a democracy, it's a Jewish democracy. That means there are a lot of opinions, and everyone is free to express them. Believe me, they do. You see, what's remarkable is not that there are some Israelis who dissent, but the overwhelming unity of opinion across the Israeli political spectrum. I represent the Israeli public. About 70% of the Israeli public agrees with me about the deal. Iran's Arab neighbors, most of them, also agree with me. Recent polls suggest that most of the American public agrees with the Israeli public. They see the anti-American and anti-Israeli rallies in Tehran. They see our flags burnt in the streets. They hear the chants of death to America, death to Israel. They see Iran's terrorist regime continue to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles. I want to make it clear to you. Iran is not building these ballistic missiles, these ICBMs, to hit Israel. They already have missiles that can hit Israel everywhere. They're building these ICBMs to hit you, to hit the United States. You're the great Satan. We're just a small Satan. Iran's dictator, Ayatollah Khamenei, he just published a book in which he called again for the destruction of Israel. Not in a statement, a press release, in a book. He says in recent speeches that despite the deal, Iran's number one enemy is still the United States of America, and that Iran's conflict with America will continue after the deal. In my years of public life, finding 70% of unity on any issue is exceedingly rare. And when that happens, when Israelis overwhelmingly agree with each other, and when Israelis and Arabs overwhelmingly agree with each other, I think people should pay attention. So here's the bottom line of everything that I've said today. Don't let the world's foremost terrorist regime get its hands on the world's most dangerous weapons. Oppose this bad deal. I want to thank you for your attention, and I want to thank you for your friendship and for your support. I say that on behalf of everyone in Israel. Thank you.